I didn't know how to get there though. I spent hours talking to close friends and family, trying to figure out what to do. Everyone had their own opinion. Some said I should leave him. Some said I should forgive him and move on. But I couldn't just make a decision like that. I needed time. I needed clarity. One day, I went to church by myself. I sat in the back, feeling like the world was closing in around me. I had always turned to my faith when things were difficult, but this time, I didn't know what to believe. How could I forgive someone who had hurt me so deeply? How could I trust him again after everything that had happened? I closed my eyes and prayed, asking God for guidance. "Please," I whispered, "show me what to do. Show me how to heal, how to forgive." And then a thought came to me. It wasn't a voice, not like I had heard before, but it felt like a truth I had known all along. Restoration takes time. Forgiveness isn't something you can just force. It's a process, and it starts with choosing to let go of the anger and the hurt. It's a choice you make every day. It doesn't mean forgetting, but it means healing. That was the first step. I didn't have to make a decision about our marriage right away, but I could start by working on myself on healing. I had to rebuild my own sense of self-worth before I could even begin to rebuild our relationship. I started going to therapy, both alone and with David. The sessions weren't easy. The emotions were raw. But slowly we started to talk. I began to understand why David had made the choices he did, and he began to understand why I felt so deeply hurt. But understanding didn't mean fixing everything. It meant that we had to confront our pain, face it head-on, and make the choice to move forward. David worked hard to show me that he was committed to restoring our relationship. He apologized, but he didn't stop there. He started being transparent. He started putting in the effort. He would call me just to check in, text me throughout the day, and make an effort to show me that he was present. But most importantly, he started showing me his vulnerability. He admitted to his mistakes, not just the affair, but the emotional neglect he had shown me over the years. He admitted that he had taken me for granted. He admitted that he was afraid of the responsibility that came with being a husband and father. It was hard to hear, but it was also a start. There were days when I felt like giving up. There were nights when I lay awake, questioning everything, wondering if we could ever be the same. But there were also moments of tenderness, moments when David would hold my hand and remind me that he was committed to working through this, no matter how long it took. I knew it wouldn't be easy. Healing never is. But the more I let go of my resentment, the more I started to feel a shift in myself. I began to see David not as the man who hurt me, but as the man who was willing to fight for me, for us. And that's when I started to believe that restoration might actually be possible. It's funny how life changes when you stop running from the pain. For so long, I had been trying to avoid it, to bury it under layers of busyness and distractions. But as time went on, I realized that true healing only comes when you face the pain head-on, when you're brave enough to feel every emotion and allow yourself to grow through it. David and I had come a long way since that dark day when I first discovered his betrayal. The emotional distance between us had once seemed insurmountable, but every day we chose to fight for our marriage. Every day we chose to show up, even when it felt like we were too broken to be fixed. The therapy sessions continued, both individual and together. The sessions were difficult, often bringing up painful truths and raw emotions, but they also allowed us to see the root of our issues, to understand why we had fallen apart in the first place. It wasn't just the affair. It was the years of emotional neglect, the lack of communication, the assumptions we made about each other. The affair was simply the culmination of years of unspoken pain. David, for the first time, acknowledged his mistakes completely. It wasn't just about the affair. It was about how he had emotionally checked out of the marriage long before that. How he had stopped being there for me when I needed him most. How he had neglected our relationship in small ways, thinking that he could get away with it. He apologized with every fiber of his being. It wasn't enough to undo the hurt, but it was a start. And I, for the first time, realized that forgiveness is a choice, not an obligation. It didn't come easy. There were days when I was angry, when I wanted to give up, when the past seemed to suffocate me. But I chose to forgive, not because David deserved it, but because I needed to heal. I couldn't carry the weight of resentment any longer. I couldn't let the bitterness consume me. I had to free myself for my own sake. There were moments when we would simply sit in silence, holding hands. No words needed to be spoken. I could feel the shift between us, feel the walls I had built starting to come down. And in those moments, I could feel the spark that had once connected us, the connection that had been buried beneath the hurt, beginning to light up again. We started going on dates, just the two of us, remembering the early days of our relationship. We laughed together again, like we used to. We talked for hours, sharing our thoughts, our hopes, and our fears. Slowly, piece by piece, we were rebuilding what had been broken. But it wasn't just about the two of us. It was about our family too. Ella and Ethan had noticed the changes. They saw us laugh more, talk more, and, most importantly, love each other again. They had felt the tension in the house, the coldness between David and me, and now they were seeing their parents come back together. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. There were challenges, of course. There were still moments of doubt, moments when I wondered if I could truly trust him again. And there were moments when David struggled to prove to me that his commitment was genuine. But every day we chose to keep fighting. Every day we chose to keep showing up for each other. One evening, as I sat on the couch, looking at David, I realized how far we had come. We were no longer two people living in the same house, pretending everything was okay. We had faced our darkest hours, and now we were building a new foundation. One built on honesty, on communication, on understanding. We were stronger than we had ever been. That night, after the kids had gone to bed, David sat next to me, holding my hand. His voice was quiet but steady. "I know I hurt you," he said. "I can never take that back, but I will spend the rest of my life showing you that I am worthy of your trust. I love you, Sophia. I always have." And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel the weight of the past. I didn't feel the anger or the fear. I simply felt his love, raw and real, and I knew without a doubt that we were going to make it. We had restored our marriage, not by erasing the past, but by choosing to move forward together, despite everything that had happened. We had rebuilt our trust, not by pretending the betrayal didn't exist, but by facing it head-on and deciding to forgive. We had restored our love, not by waiting for the perfect moment, but by taking small steps every day toward healing. And as I lay next to him that night, I realized something powerful. Restoration is not just about fixing what was broken. It's about choosing to love again, even when it's hard, even when it feels impossible. It's about making the decision every day to rebuild what was lost, one piece at a time. Our marriage wasn't perfect. It wasn't the same as it had been before. But it was real, and it was ours. And that was enough.